What's going on, Aces? Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are somewhere enjoying your beautiful Monday. It is a gorgeous day outside, so if you have the opportunity after work to go take a nice walk, relax, enjoy the day, I encourage all of you to do so. I want to talk about Mr. Marquise White. I'm sure that by now you guys have heard and seen because this clip went viral. It was a 4-minute TikTok video. He is on TikTok and he has over 700,000 subscribers. So he goes by the name Jock Lee. There's nothing wrong with being a content creator. I'm one myself, absolutely. Before I became an entrepreneur, I was a teacher for several years. A lot of people in my family were teachers. So I have, much respect for educators and everything that they go through. So let me put my educator hat on really quickly because I feel like this conversation deserves a bit of nuance, right? I don't want to shame anybody. I feel like, him asking the young ladies to take his hair down, it was a lapse in judgment. So even in this picture that I put on the left, I specifically made sure to crop out the young ladies' faces because I'm not an advocate of putting children on the internet, not my future children, right? Not anybody's children, because there's way too many, you know, P. Diddy's and R. Kelly's and Harvey Weinstein's and Bill Cosby's out there. And women along that same vein as well. It's not just men, unfortunately, who do not see the value or the innocence in young children. With that being said, I don't know Mr. White, but I do know that educators are held to a higher standard and an ethical standard, right? A professionalism. And that's why I titled it, what is it, the Braids, on my Kendrick Lamar. But no, because it was the lack of boundaries and the lack of professionalism, sir. Now, do I think that he should have gotten fired? Not necessarily. He looks fairly young. I feel like maybe he could have been suspended, or he could have at least sat down with his, vice principal, and given a warning, giving some kind of mentorship. But I feel like because this got so much heat online and so many parents were up in arms, that it forced the hand of the administrators that they had to let him go. And I'm hoping that this is a learning lesson. Now, when I said I'm hoping it's a learning lesson, the picture on the right shows Mr. White not seemingly have learned a lot. And I'm trying my best here, right? Because I know it's a short span, but he's reading the text messages from, or maybe it's not text message, maybe it's, from a server, but he's reading messages from these middle school students. And some of them start out, hey, bestie, I just want to check on you. And I'm not super old, right? I'm really not. But the teachers that I grew up with did not even want you behind their desk. Like, there were boundaries, right? I am, flabbergasted that the students would, think to call him bestie. Now, again, these are, was middle school, 12, 11, 13 year old kids, 14, whatever. And of course, they call everybody bestie, and that's fine. They're kids. I don't understand why he's reading these messages from his phone, because if they are text messages, again, in my opinion, that is extremely unprofessional, and it blurs those boundaries, right? A lot of people were saying that because it was for young ladies, that was also a problem. And I agree. And unfortunately, we live in a society that does have double standards, but the fact that there were no, young men, maybe aspiring barbers, trying to take down his hair, and then he was going on this rant about how, the girls enjoy it and things like that. And we can get into the whole, adultification of young Black women, how Black women are not seen as innocent or as they're not protected. I know that much as their white counterparts. There's all types of nuanced conversation that we can have. But in the original TikTok video, I want to read some of these comments because they are mixed on about the appropriateness of his video and what he posted. So the first comment says, quote, "I see nothing wrong. Some of them may not have a father figure, a big brother at home, so to keep it up, to be there for them." This may be true, which further proves the point that they should not be performing, laborious tasks. One, during educational time. I don't understand why, if y'all have time to take down his hair, then there should be some type of learning going on. And it doesn't even have to be, textbook boring. They could be playing, a learning game. They could be, sitting outside reading, Langston Hughes poetry, whatever, you know what I mean? Something that has to do with education, because these kids have already gone through a whole lot, with COVID. A lot of students are struggling to catch up academically, right? And so I don't understand why they're using precious class time to take down his hair. That's personal grooming. Some people was like, well, why didn't he ask, his fellow teachers to do it? Because he knew the answer before he even would formulate the question. Absolutely not are they going to perform free labor, especially not during class time, school time. And it's just, he wouldn't ask a peer to do that. It's a power differential, right? That power dynamics, I feel like, is something that I really wish that, we would learn more about that in school. But as we're seeing on college campuses, because that's where I learned about power dynamics, right? I learned about it in college. And once students start learning about power dynamics and that power differential, and they start questioning that, James Baldwin already told us, that makes you unfit to be manipulated, essentially. And so him asking these young girls to take down his braids during class time absolutely was inappropriate. And him reading messages, him showing their face online, 700,000 followers this man has. That is 700,000 people, essentially, or even larger, right? That you are exposing these young women to. Malcolm X said, the most unprotected, the most disrespected person in America is the Black woman. And he's not joking. And that's grown women. That's not even talking about children, because these are children, these are babies, right? In my middle school kids, I call them babies. I was in grad school. This is a true story. It was an undergrad, and he put his arm around my, my shoulder. And even though I was a student, I like kind of brushed it off, and I didn't want to hurt his feelings because he was a nice guy. But I was thinking, like, there's a power differential there. I teach, undergrad classes. Then I was thinking, you're going to get me in trouble. And I was a student. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a grad student. So for him to be a teacher and to not think that that was an issue, and for him to film it, he really didn't have an issue with it. And then after he lost his job, he's now online reading messages from his phone. Like, sir, somebody needs to, where is Mr. Clark? like I miss, and Mr. Clark had his own issues, but I bet you none of his teachers was letting their students take down their braids at Fair Eastside High. Okay. Where are the old school teachers at? There needs to be some boundaries. I do feel bad that he lost his job. However, since he has 700,000 followers, he's getting a bag from TikTok, and hopefully, he can transform that audience and that attention into other platforms, because as we know, TikTok is essentially going to be banned, or it is banned, but they're going to probably cut access to it within 6 months to a year. But I'm hoping that he can, maybe start a YouTube channel, or, Instagram, whatever the case may be, that he can still have a livelihood from social media. But reading those messages from his phone, And the reason why I keep going back and forth, because I know some people said it might be an educational server, whatever the case may be, kids don't need to be contacting their teachers outside of school settings. I'm sorry. That's the whole reason why, kids call teachers by their last name, and they put that honorific, the Mr., the Mrs., the doctor, professor. You want to separate, you don't want to blur that line of professionalism because things like this happen. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts. Like I said, I feel bad that he lost his job. I felt like, maybe they could have talked to him or suspended him at the most. I don't think this was a fireable offense. But on the other hand, I'm thinking, like, I don't know if he's really learned from the situation, because why are you continuously, reading? I just feel like he's digging his hole deeper. But those are my thoughts. I'm going to take off my educator hat now because I had to leave it alone, because I feel like being an entrepreneur it's a better fit for me. And it brings me a lot more peace. And I don't have to worry about being as professional all the time. And it's a lot more fun. But those are my thoughts. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think about Mr. White and him losing his job? Let me know in the comment section below. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I will talk with you in the next video. Take care, aces. Bye.